it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Marcus in the Man Cave with your boy Marcus and our wonderful, beautiful, amazing, and TikTok popular Miss Janelle Mayfield. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you this evening?
I'm all right. Um, as everybody can see right now, we have a panel today because this was a week in Black America, and I felt like just me and you just doing it just wouldn't be fair. I felt like we needed some more voices. Um, but before we get to our wonderful guests below us, Janelle, did you do anything cool this weekend that we need to know about?
I relaxed in my bed for like 3 hours. It was outstanding. I forgot how wonderful that is. That's like the best thing I did. Oh, and I took Desire swimming again, which was fun, but not much, which was really nice. How was your weekend?
It was cool. I can't complain. I thought I was gonna get some more work done, but I kind of did the same thing. I had a trip to DC, came back, and then I just slept. Like I just
Yeah.
laid down. And sometimes I think we forget to do that. Just reset sometimes. Just drop everything and take care of yourself. But with that being said, we're gonna take care of y'all tonight and give y'all something to talk about. We have our guests here tonight. We have two returning guests who are quite popular. We got our girl Raw. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. Anything new with you?
I did my maternity shoot, so knocked that out.
All
And
right. All right. All right. Anthony, the the man with the
What's going
glowing
on, bro?
beard. What's up, man? How you been?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me again, man.
Of
I love
course.
coming on here.
And your family. Yeah. Always welcome in the man cave. Anything
Yes, sir.
anything happening with you? I know school's out, how things going?
Um, this week I went to go. Me and my cousins are super close. Their kids are my godchildren, so I just went by their house just to hang out with them and stuff. Had a little family time over the weekend. That's about it.
Okay, okay. And now we come to a guest that has been monumental and shaping me into the individual I am, mainly because she allowed me to pass her class twice. Don't know how. Grace of God. That's the only way it happened. She is like a big sister to me, like a mom to me when I need it. She is the woman who does not believe in extra credit. She is Miss Cecily Gardner. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure, actually. I'm excited.
So before we get started and get into everything tonight, you want to tell anybody any crazy stories about me or anything before we get started?
Should I share what happened on Air Force Two? Well, after
Oh,
or now?
go for it. That would be fun.
Okay. True story. So I had never met Marcus's mom. Are you sure you want me to tell this story?
I don't care.
Okay. I had never met Marcus's mom. So he invited me to check out Air Force Two. So I go and I'm talking to this woman and I was just like, yeah, one of my former students invited me. We weren't the only Black people there, but she asked, so who invited you? And I was like, oh, his name's Marcus. She's like, oh, that's my son. And we talk and the vibe is chill and we're excited when we finally see him. We tour Air Force Two, whatever. Marcus, do you want to tell your guests what your mom said after she met me?
So y'all know I my relationship with my mom is not the best. I've been very candid about that here on the show, but I guess she felt some type of way about Miss Gardner being there, and uh, it was not a good day. She was like, "Why did you bring that bitch to the jet?" Yeah, craziness, y'all, craziness,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah, so
It was crazy. What? True
it's
story.
it's
True
true story.
story.
Like, can't make it up.
But we still had a good time. I enjoyed myself and you know,
Yeah, and
just one of those things.
I mean, I just had to tell my mom. I mean, she showed up. I mean, how can I have this woman as a teacher for 2 years and you never met her? Like, that says, anyway.
Yeah.
She was
Good
there when it
times,
mattered.
though.
But it was good times. It was good times.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get started tonight. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I thank you all. I thank you all for coming. It's gonna be a good night. We're gonna get started. Anthony, I know this is a topic that you made sure that we threw in today. You made sure we put it in here because it was close to you. You're a sports guru, so I'll let you go ahead with it. What's on your mind?
All right, so I just put a little link to the story also in the chat, but my girl Rachel, man, you know, I hate it had to be her. Honestly, I feel like Janelle can probably tell the story. She already rolling her eyes, so I'm gonna let Janelle tell, you know what I'm saying, what her side is, and then I would like to jump in after that.
All right,
Go ahead, Janelle, you got it.
Rachel Nichols.
Oh Lord.
Has been working for ESPN since 2004. So she's been there for quite a while, and she really worked her tail off to get to where she is. We cannot take that away from her. She really has broke through some molds dealing with ESPN when it comes to women and stuff like that. She quite frequently, you know, hosts the NBA Finals. And this year she was told that she won't be doing that. A young woman by the name of Taylor. I can't think of her last name.
Maria Taylor.
Who started out with college football and then ended up doing like 1 year at the NBA. Now she will be taking over the NBA Finals as a host.
17-year-old autistic college
happy
kid.
About this. Rachel Nichols is a white woman who is married to a black man. This black man is connected to LeBron. She, as she should, felt comfortable talking to her husband during a time of frustration. And she was upset that she is being replaced by Miss Taylor. But she decided to make it about the fact that you're hiring Miss Taylor because she's black. Not trying to give her any credit. This is the same woman who talked about women's rights and feminism the same breath. And yet you're tearing down another woman who is black. Now, I'm not going to say that Rachel is completely wrong because I worked at ESPN for 1 year and my interviews were disgusting. But I didn't know at that time. Like the guy that interviewed me, he literally told me to my face, like, you're the only woman. And I was. In the group that was hired, I was the only woman and I was the only black person. And he would ask me stupid questions because he didn't think I knew anything. So she's right. There is definitely a serious issue with the way ESPN treats women. But baby girl, why is it when black women they work their way up to get where they are, it has to be, oh, you're just picking them because they're black? You can feel how you feel, but you just had to call her out because she's black?
All right, Anthony. I see you got you want to.
All right, so
go ahead.
So this one was said. I'm reading. These are Rachel's words. So like Janelle said, Rachel was talking to her husband. So she said, "I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball." This is what Rachel said in 2020, July of 2020. So almost a year ago now. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-term record on diversity. Talking about ESPN, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not going to find it from me or taking my thing away. So this is my thing. Rachel, I feel like ESPN deserves some culpability because they basically turned it into, well, there can only be one female reporter on the sidelines. It's going to be Maria or it's going to be Rachel. So that's the thing I didn't agree with ESPN, and I think they kind of put her in a tight situation. But I do think Rachel reacted kind of like just thinking about herself, and she didn't think about like the overall optics of the situation, where like Maria is a woman and she's a black woman. So she's at the intersection of racism and patriarchy and, you know, misogyny and stuff. So I think if Rachel really wanted to be the ally that she kind of like, you know, brands herself to be, then she could have just, I mean, I know she was pissed off about it, but she could be like, you know what? I'm gonna let Maria ride for this one, and I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think she has the right to advocate for herself and vent to her husband. But I hate it had to be her. It was her comments were just tone deaf, and she should have chose some better words. If that's what if she was going to choose to complain about it. That's all I can say.
Her husband's the
Okay.
real problem, though.
Sess, you're a black woman. You're in a you're in a position of power. You're a principal, right? School principal. You know, doing your thing, controlling all the kiddies. Um, how, as a black woman, I'm sure you could probably speak towards, you know, being in positions of power where your representation is probably not as high as it should be. Do you feel that she was wrong in her comments, or maybe just had misplaced anger in the moment?
I think both. She lashed out and spoke recklessly. I think it's ironic that she was talking to her black husband about and complaining about another black woman. I think that's ridiculous, but that speaks to, I think, her and him and maybe whatever relationship that they have, whatever that looks like. So I think she has probably no business. It just feels like she's denigrating that woman unnecessarily and unfairly, of course. She works hard just like we all do to get what we feel like we deserve. And so I feel like she's definitely out of order. And her apology was lukewarm at best. I read it and I thought it was ridiculous. She would have done better just being quiet instead of issuing that, whatever that was. So it's unfortunate. I mean, because, you know, women usually are always talking about, oh, we need to uplift each other or whatever, but then they can't. And I'm just going to go off on a tangent and just say this. Sometimes when people are accustomed to having their way and getting the things that they want, they have a very hard time swallowing that pill of disappointment that so many African American women experience. And not just women, just people of color. Shoot, it doesn't even have to necessarily be just Black people. It doesn't have to be black and white. But when you are consistently fed that bitter pill of disappointment and it's not yet your turn, you know, I don't care that she's mad. Stay mad. Let that woman do what she's going to do. She needs to sit down and be quiet.
All right. I agree with everything you just said, but let's also preface too that this was recorded without her knowledge too. I think that's another important thing. Even though I don't agree with what she said, there is a level of like she was in her hotel room at the time, and this was recorded and disseminated throughout the. Right, I see your face down there. All right, go ahead. You go ahead. What you got?
I'm not familiar with the whole situation, but I can imagine if her husband accomplished something and then somebody came and said, oh, they only gave that to you because you're Black, she wouldn't appreciate it. I think if somebody fixed their mouth to say, you only got this because you're pretty,
Say that.
easy on the eyes, she wouldn't appreciate somebody saying that. So for her to take that very thing and use it against somebody else's, whether she knew or not.
When it's them.
I totally agree. I think, like you said, it's a bitter pill for her to swallow. And it's not like Maria is not qualified to do this job. You didn't lose out to somebody who just started at the company. You lost out to somebody who's been covering football, basketball, and other events. It's not like she's some brand new girl. You've been the it girl. And right now, even if the company was doing it because she's Black, sit down and take a back seat, like every other person of color has had to do at some point in their career. It's not gonna hurt you. You still got a job. You still making more money than the average person. Chill out. Let somebody else shine for a minute. Since you know how it feels, you know, saying that, oh, I'm a woman, I understand on the woman's side, then try to understand on also being a woman and then being a minority. She's got 2 strikes. She's fighting an uphill battle. Let her have her moment. That's the way I feel about that situation. Anthony, anything to wrap that up?
Like I said, like Rachel is from Maryland. You know what I'm saying? The jump is my favorite show. So it's just like when you find out, when it's like the same way I felt when I saw that "Make America Great Again" hat in Tom Brady's locker. It's just like, dang, bro, come on, bro. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not
It's just,
sure.
I just hated. I hated it had to be her, but you know what I'm saying. But this is what I will say. I hope that Rachel can learn from this, and I don't think Rachel needs to necessarily be canceled. But it's just like, just let her learn from this. Let her do some atonement, and hopefully they can move forward. And ESPN can stop trying to put different women against each other and just allow them both to have opportunities instead of having them take away from one to give to the other.
I don't think she's gonna stay at Maria's gonna stay at ESPN. I can see
Yeah,
TNT.
nah,
TNT got their
nah,
palms like this, just waiting to bring her.
yeah,
She'll
yeah.
leave.
Because they at this point they're not even like, they don't even want to be on TV
Yeah, they
together.
can't be
Like
on the same
there's a
post.
lot of it's a lot of segments where it's like they do it pre-recorded and make it seem like it's live just because it's so like chippy over there now. Like it's really, and the crazy thing is they act so buddy on TV. The article I put in there it got the clips and everything. Everything that she said, you can hear her say it. So read that, y'all, if y'all really want to know
Oh, we got 20 viewers
about it.
right now. Thanks for 20 viewers coming in tonight. I appreciate that. So let's go to let's go to our first topic of the night. That was just our icebreaker, y'all. We about to hit the heavy stuff now. The meat and potatoes, as I like to say. A full meal. Our good friend Bill Cosby got out. And the world has just been going crazy, especially the black world has been going crazy about guilty or innocent and whatnot. And I just found it very crazy how many, after you hear him in his own words admit what he did, how many African American women came to his defense. And it was strange to me, and I'm not a woman, so I didn't want to speak on it myself, but it was just strange to me because I felt like being a man, if I've heard that someone did that to my mother, my sister, or if I had a daughter, I guarantee we wouldn't be reacting the same way. And it also goes to show that the legal system in America needs to be taught more comprehensively, because getting off on a technicality does not make you innocent. It just means somebody in the process, the due process of law, messed up. And therefore you get to go free. It doesn't mean you didn't do what you did. It just means it's a technicality. And this man is on tape. You can go listen for yourself, saying that he literally slipped women Quaaludes in order to have sex with them. And y'all are acting like this is okay. And before I pass this off, I want to say I'm tired of black people saying, well, so-and-so white person did it, so why should it matter? We have an accountability issue. Like, wrong is wrong. I don't care what your skin color is. Wrong is wrong. I don't care what Harvey Weinstein did. I don't care what any of these people did. It was wrong. And if he did this to somebody you loved and you cared about, you wouldn't be saying the stuff you're saying about today. I think too many people are in love with Dr. Huxtable and not seeing Bill Cosby. Y'all are seeing the man on TV who played a fictional character, and not the man that behind the scenes was messing up with these women and just creating hell for their lives. I'm gonna pass this off to Ra and see what you got to say about it.
I just think that we as a community should be very careful with saying free so-and-so or expressing joy when we know that somebody did something wrong, because it really takes away from when an actual injustice happens to our community. Because I think it kind of arms and equips people to be like, y'all say free everybody. This person admitted to it and y'all didn't care. So I think we need to be careful with that. I think it's cool to defend Black people, Black men, Black women who are in certain situations, but not if they're dead wrong and have admitted to such. A lot of people were mad at Felicia Rashad for her tweet. I think she should have just kept her mouth closed. Maybe gave him a phone call if she felt that pressed about it. But I don't think we need to be supporting rapists.
We got a comment from Sinise. She says she's not. I guess that's in terms of rallying to defend him. She says she's not. And women and men are still rallying for R. Kelly. And even though he didn't admit it, he's literally on tape. People know. people are fully aware of what he's been on since we were in high school in Chicago, but we were willing to act like it's nothing because he got some hit songs. Uh, yeah, and that's true. I think we go ahead, Cecily. It seems like you had something you wanted to say on that.
Who?
Miss Gardner, you got something on that?
Oh, I I think I have a lot to say about this particular topic, but I'm going to try to keep it cute. So he admitted that he did this to this woman and he was in jail and he got out on a technicality. That's not his fault. That's, like you said, the justice system. I think it's terrible what he did. But I will say this because I think, and I'm not saying it's right, but what I am saying is that that was a different time, and people were taking quaaludes, and people were. I'm just gonna say, I know he's not the only person who was caught up living in that kind of lifestyle, and I'm not saying like that woman is what happened to her and what he said he did to her is messed up. But if we're just going to talk about whether or not he should be out of jail, I mean, nah, he shouldn't be out of jail, but he's out now. And I'm not saying yay for Bill Cosby getting out because he's effed up in what he did, period. However, it was a different time. Like if you look at footage from like Studio 54 in New York or just some of those time period movies, like they're accurate. Everybody's doing coke. Everybody's doing this. People are asleep, and they knew this man was married. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right. That is not what I'm saying. Is he supposed to be out of jail? On a technicality, I guess so. And people just have to deal with it. People get off or don't get time all the time. Kids just happen to be super high profile. So now, and I agree with what you said, Marcus. People are in love with Dr. Huxtable. I mean, a lot of people grew up watching the Cosby Show and loving that whole persona and all of that. But I mean, that dude is a man. He's not, and he's foul for what he did. But I mean, he's out. Technicality or no, that's just what it is. I don't know. I'm gonna let somebody else talk. I have a lot to say. I don't think it's all good though.
Janelle?
I'm not trying to start a riot.
I'm so sick of this conversation, to be honest. Yeah. So many feelings about it. I think a lot of what everyone has said is what I've been reading and seeing. And I'm going to start with Felicia. I think that I don't know Bill Cosby personally. I don't know any of these things personally.
Right.
I don't know anything about them. And number one, I find it very odd when people really try to overly defend people that you don't know. But I think that I look back at the fact that these people are in positions of power, and they know that. And they choose to wake up in these positions every single day. If they really wanted to, they could walk away and they could just be normal people like we are. But they're not. Felicia she's currently the face of Howard. She's not the president, but she is the face of Howard right now. Her being in her position was a huge, huge story. And she chose to be in that position. So, this whole idea of like freedom of speech, she can say what she wants. You sure can. You have freedom of speech when it comes to persecution of the government. But when you put yourself in these positions and you choose to, you need to watch what you say. You need to have the best PR team behind you. So don't even have your own social media. Have someone run it for you. I'm plugging myself. But you need to have somebody run it for you. You need to be very smart about every move you make because we are in a time where the news hits within seconds. As soon as you hit send, everyone knows what you're saying. And nobody wants to be canceled. And I get it. And I get it's her friend. and she feels some type of way. I'm not going to get into how I feel personally about it, but I think for all celebrities, y'all need to learn or use the great amount of money that you have that we put into your pockets and hire people and stop sounding stupid on the internet. That's my first thing. When it comes to Bill Cosby, I have a really hard time with this. I have a son, and I don't plan on having any other children. And since having a son, my eyes are open to a lot of things. Like, since having a child, I feel like your eyes just, like the world, I'm just like, wow, this is really what's going on. And I think the message that the Black community is sending by supporting Bill, because even if he didn't rape, even if he is innocent of that, something happened where that man did something completely out of order. And it wasn't just in 2004. This has been going on for a long time. But we're sending the same narrative that we've been hearing for so long, that like, as long as you act like you got some sense, ain't nobody gonna bother you. As long as you dress a certain way, as long as you don't put yourself in that situation. It just sounds like we're really forgetting that this man was wrong, period. There are going to be women that continuously come after you. That's not ever going to stop. We need to be realistic. There are going to be men that continuously come after you. That's never going to stop. But he chose to give drugs to women. I don't care if the entire world was doing it. He got caught. And it's wrong. And it really bothers me when I hear a lot of people saying things like, oh, well, we have to protect Black men and stuff. Bill Cosby don't even like half of us. If you listen to his comments, like the things that he says, he doesn't like half of the Black people that are supporting him. All the different people, like, he would consider you a thug, uneducated, ignorant. Like, these people who are capping for him, he would literally probably act like you didn't exist. And I think that sex and rape and molestation and sexual assault is so easy to be pushed under the rug in this community. And it seems to be the person that's always on the end of it is a woman. Yep. So at what point do we just say, you can't say protect Black women and you supporting Bill Cosby? I don't want to hear that, to be honest. Because if it was your child, or if it was your aunt or your mom, or if it was me, I'm sure y'all would be like,
and yeah, that's how. And that's what I'm saying. I hate the, I understand it's a different time, but imagine your wife or your sister coming to you telling you that somebody raped them at this point, and then someone telling you, well, it was a different time then, so everybody was doing it. Does that make you feel any better about the situation? Does that make that okay for you? Is it now, well, it was the 70s, so it was okay? Like, no, it is what it is. Like, and for some reason, we will try to find every excuse because he's a Black man, for him to get away with this, for him to, and that bothers me, because I've lost friends on that note, because I can't do it. If one of my boys were to do that kind of thing, I'm taking you to the police station myself. I will drive you, tell you we going to Burger King, and you will end up in the police department. Go ahead, Ms. Garner.
Yeah, let me be clear. I don't condone his behavior at all, and I hope that part has come across as just factual. Like I said, he's an effed up individual for, everything that he's done. And some stuff he has been held accountable for or called out on, and I'm sure there are plenty others that he has not. But and as much as I want to protect Black men, oh, she's about to cause some controversy maybe. As much as I want to protect Black men, sometimes they put themselves in a situation where we can't protect them. And like, I hate to see, especially coming from the profession that I'm in, I hate to see young Black men fall prey to the streets or poor judgment or bad peer groups or any of those things. But like it's already been said, that he was a grown-ass older man who knew he had authority, who knew he held a certain level of power, and he knew that these women were available, and it may be they could have been was how do I want to say this, willing in the beginning and not knowing what was going to happen or not, but whatever that looked like she said, he got caught out there, and whatever punishment that he is supposed to get, he earned that. And I hate to see black men fall, but like I said, keep yourself in a position where you can be protected, like, or upheld or supported. And he did not do that. And he failed a lot of people. I just think about his wife. Like
She never even went to see him.
thing.
She never even went to see him in jail.
She's sticking beside him, though. Okay? She's sticking beside him. I don't care.
Well, she's been quiet. And I think when you reach that level of stuck beside him, yeah, and she has stood beside him. She's quiet. She's silent, though. We can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I can't hear.
Uh-oh.
I can hear everybody.
I can hear everybody.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
Can
that's
I
all.
say, can I say something?
Yeah, I was going to
Yes,
go to you.
please.
All right. Okay. So, I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I don't have a lot of like new ideas to bring to this conversation. But one thing I will say is that I think it's very important for especially men to recognize like when we are in positions of power, like it's very important that we don't abuse it. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's I'm the star of a show and you're like an extra and you're trying to come up. So of course you're going to do whatever if you think it can help your career. So for me, if I'm taking advantage of that, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or like in any situation like that. So I'm always very, very careful and very try to be as aware as I can about the power dynamics and the different relationships that I'm in. And I think that we just got to be aware of that. As far as Bill, we are younger, so it's difficult for us to really appreciate the time and what it happened. But I'm going to be very unnuanced and just be super black and white and just say, Bill's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we should waste our advocacy for that particular black man. It reminds me a lot of O.J. Simpson and how we rode for him real hard. But we really should have just been riding for Rodney King. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm kind of done with Bill. I wish Felicia had, if she wanted to support him, had, you know, reached out to him privately, like Ross said. I hope it's over. You know what I'm saying? I hope she can stop dragging our school to that stuff. You know?
Because Howard's in the middle of it. It's not fair.
And people always waiting. People waiting on something like that. And people would love to see us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I really hate to see that, literally. So, yeah.
I agree, Ra. You want a final word on this?
What'd you say?
I said what I had to say.
Oh, she said what she said.
She said what she said.
She said what she said. I just reiterated the fact that I just think too many people, we don't have the ability to separate people's characters and their celebrity personas away from being human. And I know for me, like I grew up watching the Cosby Show, and it's so crazy because my dad loved Bill Cosby, like loved him, like thought the world of him, read his books. Always, if a rerun of the Cosby Show was on, it was being watched. Like he was just looked up to so much, and I think we put him on this pedestal, and it's hard to want to knock people off. It's hard to want to see somebody you idolized fall, but at the same time, I can look at. I personally can't watch the Cosby Show anymore, because it makes it all seem like a lie. But there were some good things there were so many positive things about that show, and I hate to see it all be tarnished and erased because there were so many morals taught in that show, so many great episodes of just black excellence in that show and performances in that show. And I think that might be Felicia's problem too, is that she's probably questioning her own self in it. Probably at this point, like, could I have seen some of these things going on while we were on the set, or things that I didn't know about? And maybe if I say he's guilty, I in a way feel guilty myself because I didn't, maybe I didn't do all I could or didn't step in, or I just let the boys be boys back then. And I think that could possibly be another angle that we aren't looking at. What do you think, Janelle?
I like that angle. I didn't think of it from that side, but I just, at this point, I just want them to stop bringing Howard into it. I just think it's completely unfair that they're dragging the school into it, and they have no idea of how harmful it can be to students, because it's not going to harm them, but people will pull money from the school. Like, people who don't agree with what Felicia said and other celebrities, like, this could really harm and tarnish the name of Howard. For what? For what? Like, no one's going to benefit from this. So I just wish everyone would honestly just shut up.
Ms.
Go to
Gardner,
work.
I saw you had the finger wave. I mean, I know what that wave means. Something's about to be said. You got something for us, Ms. Gardner?
Oh yeah. If anyone on this panel thinks that the media doesn't know what harm can be done by what they're doing right now, of course they know. I'm just saying.
So I asked in the chat if people thought that Bill Cosby was really guilty, and Sinise commented yes, because realistically, if they were coming to see him to smash, they would have just done it without the drugs. He added it to make sure they would.
She ain't lying though.
She's not. She's not.
But I also saw a lot of men saying, Judge Joe Brown, I think we forgot about him.
He old and
saying
senile.
that this is what they get. Like, men were saying, I saw grown black men in the comments saying things like, women go out to drink and get drunk so they can have sex with us. And I'm like, you mean to tell me I really pay my hard-earned money to buy a beverage so I can lay in bed with you in your house?
Let me say this. I do think that I'm gonna say this as a young person who's been in the streets. Never been in situations like that, but I've been in the streets. Let me just say this real quick. Just stay with me. I used to go out with my cousin all the time. He went to Morgan, so y'all know I went to Howard. So we used to link almost every weekend. My cousin is a very charming person. He could talk to anybody. So at the end of the parties, it would always be like young ladies coming back to our house with us. And in my mind, I'm like, y'all don't know us. Like, y'all are we could be doing anything. We could be harvesting your organs. Y'all don't know us. You know what I'm saying? So y'all did put yourself in a bad situation, but we didn't rape any of them. You know what I'm saying? We didn't touch any of them unless that was something they wanted to do. So, and especially with me, like I don't even touch you unless you like, hey, Anthony, look, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do nothing because I don't have time for that. But but in my mind, I would be like, y'all playing with fire. Y'all just so happen to be dealing with people who are decent people. But if I did have kids, I would teach them like, look, don't like, the world is hard enough. Don't pledge yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in bad situations. But it's still wrong. It don't matter if that person is dumb or not. You know what I'm saying? If the house is unlocked and you still broke in, you still a burglar. You know what I mean? So,
all right, let's go to Rob.
More women than none do that. Like, I've never seen black women.
Rob, your face was twitching a little bit.
Black women do what?
With the people that I surround myself with,
I haven't. They do it. They do it.
Yeah.
Rob, what you got? And can we take a moment to just look at her makeup tonight, y'all?
She's glowing.
Oh, she's glowing.
She's glowing.
Yeah.
She's
glowing and flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The hair, the makeup, everything. But anyway, I saw your face twitching a little bit. It looked like you had something to say. What you got?
I agree with Anthony as far as it's unfortunate that we live in a world where women have to do these things, but until the world changes, I plan on teaching my daughter, to be aware, to not put yourself in a vulnerable situation, go out with, a group of people, those types of things, just as protective measures. But I feel like a lot of times people hear that notion expressed, and they think you're automatically trying to blame the person who this happened to. And it's like, no, not at all. Just moving forward, we as women should keep in mind to not put ourselves in vulnerable situations if we can avoid it.
We should teach our daughters that, but we
We
also
need to
gotta
teach the
teach our
men,
sons.
boy. It's the
Don't be a
sons that gotta
don't be
learn.
a predator, bro. You know
Amen.
what I'm saying? Don't be you're not entitled to anybody's body. So if they don't want you to be with it, then you just gotta stop,
I mean,
bro.
I've
You know
caught
what I'm
it
saying?
numerous times in my own job. Dudes constantly buying a female member drinks, like all the time. You're just like, bro, like if she didn't want you sober, like, come on, like, you know what you're trying to do. You know what you're trying to do.
Where is this insecurity in men coming from?
Well, I think
Because
some
Don't buy
men, and I said it on Facebook. I think some men know they so whack that a girl would have to be literally drunk out of her mind to want to mess with them. And I think that's literally what it is. And they know they have a better chance of getting what they want, and it's terrible. And I think we need to stop putting the onus on women to teach their daughters this. If men are the ones out here that can get multiple women pregnant at one time, yet we give birth control to women. Like it's the way society is set up, and this patriarchy is just it's sad, and most of the blame is on us. And until we change it, men are the ones that have to change it. It's really not women, and it's sad that we still haven't got to that point in society. I don't know when we will, but yeah, I'm with Anthony, man. I don't try to put myself in situations like that, or anywhere where it can even be misconstrued from the outside looking in. Like, I don't want someone to see me around a bunch of women and make it look like I'm even trying to do that. Like, there's just so many things that men can do better. But with that being said, let's move on to our next topic. This story, it broke hearts. It hit everybody hard after such a touching win in the 100-meter finals for the Olympic trials. It hit everybody a little hard. Sha'Carri Richardson has been placed on a 30-day ban, which would coincide with the dates of the Olympics. But fortunately, the ban will be lifted in time for her to run as a part of the relay team. So I'll say my views on it first, and then we'll pass it off. My views on it are, again, I think, and this is where me and Janelle had a disagreement, I think that we have an accountability problem as Black people. We just do. Because, yes, she got banned from competing for 30 days. And that hurts. I know it hurts. And to find out that her parent died in the way she did, I'm sure it was traumatic. Because that's literally the same way I found out. I found out my dad died from the Red Cross before my family could even tell me. So I know how it feels to get information in a way that you didn't expect it. And I'm sure if I was not in the military, I would have probably tried to find some way to cope that was probably not conducive to my career. I probably would have. But luckily, I had a team of people around me, of good friends, that once they found out the news, they basically took me out aside and was like, you're not doing anything unless one of us are with you. Like, that's just how it's going to be. And I feel she has a terrible team around her to even let her be in that situation. But I think, too, we need to measure our anger at this and realize she's very fortunate that it's only a 30-day ban. Because you have countries like Russia, who the whole country got banned for doping problems. And these athletes are basically having to pay their own way into the Olympics now. Like, they don't have state funding. They don't have everything because that country decided for some athletes to allow some athletes to dope. Athletes that are nowhere near involved with it have to deal with their whole country being banned. Also, people have been throwing in the Michael Phelps being banned. Michael Phelps actually got it pretty hard. His happened after the Olympics, so stop trying to compare the two. And this man got 90 days, banned for 90 days, got stripped of his Nike sponsorship, got 2 world championship medals stripped, and then he lost his like Wheaties sponsorship and some other stuff, and that was 90 days. Didn't get to compete in some world championship meets. And then there's another athlete who's banned from racing because of her natural testosterone levels. So when you break this down and you look at it, I understand people want to throw the race card out. And yes, I do think that there are some systematic areas where they are literally not they are literally aiming at black women, women athletes, and black athletes in general. But in this instance, she did take responsibility because she knew what she did was wrong. Now, we can debate if the rules need to be changed, which I believe they do. Weed should not be this terrible substance that we still make it. But when you sign a contract to do anything, you know what the rules are. For my job, I know I can't smoke weed, and I know what'll happen if I do. And we have to be accountable for that. We do. And she was I was proud of her for the way she tried to take responsibility. But we got to stop pretending like, oh, just because she did it, like she should get a pass. No, because the rules are the rules, and she knew what they were. And I hurt for her, I really do. But luckily, she's getting a shot that a lot of people wouldn't get. So we need to let her say, you know what, she took it. Let's learn from it. But also, like, when y'all know you're not supposed to be doing something, stop doing it. These are the same people that be like, free Pookie. And then you ask them what Pookie did. And then Pookie shot 5 people. But you want, like, no. Like, he deserved to be where he is. She knew what the rules were. She knew that this could happen. Her team around her sucks because they didn't keep her from it. And this is just a consequence of that. She'll get her medal, hopefully, in her relay race. But this should just go to show us in the black community, we should learn from this and be like, you know what? We have to be bigger than this. We have to be able to hold each other accountable and not make it a whole like, oh, we hate her, or we hating on her, or whatever. Let's see. Who wants to take this next? Anthony.
All right. I'm gonna look.
You better
I've been reading some heavy stuff, y'all. So my homegirl, she went to Wellesley. She's very smart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's like a black intellectual. This is a book called The Racial Contract. All right, it's real philosophical. I'm gonna just read this one thing. All right, look, the first sentence, he started with violence right away. He's like, white supremacy is the unnamed political system that has made the modern world what it is today. You know what I'm saying? A standard undergraduate philosophy course is going to talk about like more than 2,000 years of Western culture, but there will be no mention of the basic political system that has shaped the world for the past 100 years. The reason for that is because the people who talk about this are white. So my whole point in saying that and bringing that up is because I always question myself, like, do we need to follow rules that are not constitutional, or do we need to follow rules that are racist? You know what I'm saying? I always harken it back to like the Boston Tea Party, because that was a riot, but they did it because they felt like their cause was just. With bringing it back to the Sha'Carri thing, I do think that, you know, obviously we live in a world where black people are under attack all the time because people feel threatened by our greatness, especially Sha'Carri's just physical greatness. You know what I'm saying? And they just looking for ways to just stop her. I do believe that will say this, someone should have made her aware of this so that she could move better, so that she wouldn't put herself in situations knowing that people are just salivating at the opportunity where she shows any bit of like human error and they could just cut her down real quick. So I will say that, like, she put herself in a bad situation. I couldn't imagine my mother dying. I don't do drugs, but I couldn't imagine what would happen to me if I was 21 and my mom had a seizure when I was in school. I missed the whole recital. People didn't even know where I was. You know what I'm saying? So I was like 20 years old when that happened. So, I mean, around the same age. So I just say, I think we should offer her some grace. You know what I mean? She's laying in her bed that she made. She is taking accountability. So I think that's good on her. But I hate it had to be her. And I do think that these rules are unfair. Weed is not a performance enhancing drug. We know that. So it's kind of just bullshit. My bad, Miss Cecily, but it is, though. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Little does he know. Since he passed,
my bad. I didn't mean to be long-winded, y'all. My bad.
No. No, I appreciate you bringing in the source there. So Miss Cecily, since you were name dropped in that one, why don't you tell us how you feel?
So, okay. So she admits, I smoked, she shouldn't have. She, like you said, took full accountability. And, she's banned for 30 days, whatever, suspended. So I know, and I wish I could remember this lady's name, another competitor. who she was drug tested, and of course, it came back with steroids in her system. Steroids. And this white lady had the
The
audacity
pork belly.
to fix her mouth and say, well, I had some pork. So the steroids must have been in the pork. And like, oh, I was about to cuss, Lord.
Go ahead. Go for it.
People bought that. Like, people bought that.
She has
Like,
since been banned though. She's still banned too.
well, here's the thing. Her excuse, this is so much like the sportscaster, the lady.
Mhm.
She got on TV, like she actually wanted people to believe that the steroids in her. Did you eat 2 whole pigs, my guy? What, like, how much pork do you have to eat in order for the steroids in your food to show up in a drug test that could prevent you from being in the Olympics?
You're not lying.
You understand what I'm saying? She was thinking, well, I don't think that this is going to apply to me. So let me go ahead and throw out this bullshit ass excuse. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
This excuse.
You're good.
So I feel bad. I wish she hadn't smoked. I'm so sorry. I wish she hadn't smoked, but she did.
It was an edible.
This-
She didn't smoke.
And she's 21. She's young, yo. She's young. She's young. So I'm so this sorry. for I wish her, she
in
had
my
opinion is gonna be like, but she complete learning for her. And when I tell you, like, if you guys think that this young lady has been working hard for this Olympics, for this performance, she's gonna be on fire for a long
Y'all
time.
didn't open up. Y'all done woke up a dragon. like,
And it's in her. You can see it when she's talking about herself, when she's talking about her performance, when she's talking about what she's trying to accomplish and why. So, I mean, take those 30 days, learn from it. Like, and somebody in the comments was saying she can be a spokesperson about this kind of thing for other young people. The women at LSU, have you guys seen the video that they made?
Mhm.
The other athletes in support of her, saying, you made a mistake. We all make mistakes. But this is something from which she can recover. 21 years old, the fastest woman, 21 years old. So she can continue to train. She'll be ready for that relay race. And they're going to keep trying to bury women like her. I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be testosterone. It doesn't have to be steroids. It doesn't have to be weed. It could be something as simple as, well, you can't wear that swim cap. But that's another story. All right. Somebody else.
Raw.
So I saw a meme and it said, "If it ain't crack, let her on the track." But I don't necessarily agree with that. I am not team let her run. I'm team change the rules. I kind of agree with Marcus in the sense of, and she said it herself, like, I knew the rules. I knew the consequences, what I was and wasn't supposed to be doing. I still made that choice. And I think that that level of accountability and the way that she handled that is something that should be admired and praised and uplifted. I also think we should be careful using the word racist again. You mentioned the swim caps. They banned swim caps that will fit natural hair. Stuff like that, that's actually racist. Somebody breaking a rule that they knew was a rule, that's not necessarily racist. I do also want to talk about the fact that just a little bit, she was dealing with an immense amount of pain, and she took the coping route rather than the healing route. And I know I've said this before, healing takes time. It takes a lot of work. Maybe she didn't have that time, available to her with everything that was going on. But that's something that I take note of too, is like, when you make the choice to cope as opposed to actually trying to work through something, the cost can be detrimental. And then the last thing I want to say is, it's quite possible for us to hold her accountable, and how the way that she held herself accountable, because she came out the gate just being accountable, and still deal with her gracefully, still love on her, still support her, still root for her the way that we are. I don't think those are mutually exclusive. And I think Nike is a good example how they, stuck with her and let her keep her sponsorship. And then also you mentioned the video of her teammates. I think this is a really great example that a lot of young Black people don't get, because it's usually, if you mess up and you Black, like, that's it, you're out of here. And I think that she's going to be a very unique story and a big emblem or symbol of hope for us, and how to be resilient and come back from a challenge.
I definitely agree. But I try not to be skeptical, but I do think Nike saw how fast that girl was. It was like, let's not cut her loose and let another sponsor get her ass. Like that girl too fast to not be wearing our
that's
shoes.
not that bad.
Yeah, but
Nike is also, I'll say, in touch with the culture.
Oh no, hell no.
Oh no, they not. No,
They
into that money. They know we're gonna spend that money.
Well, they have a great way of faking it. Is that better to say?
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what she says. Let's see what she says.
Public opinion about weed. Nike has a pulse. You know what? A lot of people think this is stupid. A lot of people don't care about this. So I think that part of it is what Nike is thinking. People don't care about this anyway. Let's ride with this girl.
I think what upset me more. I'm not disappointed in her at all. Finding out, trying to run races when you find out someone dies. I mean, it's hard to do. Like, that's just, she's human. Like she said, she is human. What I'm upset about is the fact that we don't read or do research into anything before we decide to be outraged about stuff. And that's what makes me mad. Everybody's like, oh, she's being banned. It's like, look, she's not the only athlete right now that's going through this. We have an athlete who had an abortion and is being banned right now from running. We have people with natural testosterone levels being banned right now. We have a girl that she missed 4 drug tests and they banned her too. Like, she knew she needed to be at those tests. And if you skip 4 of them joints, I'm probably going to think you doping too. Like, you skip 4. Like, I'm gonna think so too. So I think
Can I my bad. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I would just say this, and then I'll let Janelle, because I know Janelle ain't saying nothing yet. You've been real quiet and patient. But I will say, okay, like there's a type of racism that's like burning a cross on your yard, and then there's a type of stuff that's like more implicit. Like, we have to understand that, like, the people who make these rules are racist. The racism is baked into the system. So it's like, we have to, like, even when you think about the reason why marijuana is illegal is because it was competing with tobacco, and it was like tied to like Mexican people in this country and stuff. It's not because of, now look, I don't smoke weed. I don't even like the way weed smells, but I'm just, from a logical standpoint, it has nothing to do with your performance in an athletic situation. So it's not like it is the rule, and like I agree the rule should be changed, but I do think it's not just as simple as, oh, it's a rule. These are goalposts that are constantly being moved to attack us. You know what I'm saying? Even with the gymnast, what's her name, Simone?
Yeah.
Like how they outlaw the moves that she does because she's just too damn good. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when we get on these world stages, especially where white people are in control, like, we should not be so agreeable with all their policies all the time.
All right, Janelle, I'm going to let you go, but I wanted to say this one thing. The president was asked how he felt about it, and a lot of people came down on Uncle Joe because his comment was that he said that she knew the rules going into the competition. Whether the rule should still be a rule is a conversation that should be had. He said that maybe the rules do need to be changed, but as of now, they are still the rules, and unfortunately, there are consequences to breaking them. And that was his.
He got to get them red votes. That's all that is.
So, so Janelle, I know you got what you want to say, but if you could touch on that, do you think he was wrong for what he said or how he answered the question, or what is your take on the situation?
When it comes to Joe Biden, I just feel like I'm so happy Trump is not in office, but man, Joe Biden's just lame. Like he's just a lame old guy. And that's like not really his fault. He's just lame. And I just feel like people throw him questions that he is never prepared for. Again, he needs a better team. Sorry, my light just went off. He needs a better team. But I just feel like I don't disagree, but I don't believe he would felt genuine about it. I do think that they need to have a conversation about the rules. I do. But that's my take on that. But I'm actually not even, it's not that I'm not worried about the racism or I don't care about it. I definitely am very vocal about how I feel about racism. But I also understand that it is a poison that is not going to disappear during my lifetime. I'm very aware of that, and I pick and choose certain things. In this instance, I am more disappointed in the older Black community. Because I think that the elders of our community who have molded and shaped us in ways that I don't have enough thanks, it's not possible. But the things that they were taught were wrong are so wrong. And there is no grace for people who make mistakes. But it only is when, like, for example, I think of the church. I have witnessed like people in the church or people like missionaries and things like that go up to literal drug addicts and give them the world. But when someone makes a mistake, and in this instance, she shouldn't have done it. I'm going to be honest. Yes, you're right. There are rules, and not even that she shouldn't have done it. I wish she would have just said, I'm not going to pass. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell this girl she can't do anything when she lost her mother. And I used to have anxiety attacks and my mom would die. Like I would literally sit there and worry that something was happening to her and I didn't know what to do. So I'm not going to sit here and try to tell her, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because I never want to fathom being so young, my mother dying. Like I don't. But I think that just the finale of here go that, like weed is just such a bad thing to some people. And it's not that big of a deal, but there was no like, she made a mistake, but we need to back her as her village. We need to give her other coping mechanisms. We need to create spaces for her to feel comfortable and to release because she didn't have that. And, you know, I even said she needs a better team, but her team is giving her what they know. They're giving her what they've been given. They don't have the resources. Like Marcus, you mentioned how when you were in the military, you didn't do X, Y, Z, but you might have had it better than Sha'Carri has it. Like, I don't know what it's like to not be able to talk to my therapist or talk to my mom or talk to my husband. I wouldn't know that. And I just feel like maybe she didn't have that at the time. Maybe she felt like she had nothing and maybe her body just lost it, her mind lost it, and she needs something to calm her down. And she didn't know what else. That's all she knew. And I think that outside of these racist people, like Anthony said, that have been sitting in the same position, following the same rules for 50, 11 years, outside of that, if we're going to say protect Black women, yes, you hold them accountable, but you also love up on them so they know they don't have to go back to that. It's just like it's just you're taking all her, like, all this bad stuff and not giving her anything. And that's why I'm frustrated.
I think I try to be, and I get what you're saying about the old folks were taught things that are wrong, but I try to give them the benefit of the doubt and grace because I had a dad that was older and he would say a lot of the same things about weed. But I had to remember, like we were talking about in our last topic, a different time. Smoking weed for them or doing something like them for them could end them in a world of hurt. Not with the Black community, but let a white person catch them doing it. Let somebody, a law enforcement official catch them doing it. It was a whole different story for them. It could be life or death. Or cousin Bobby didn't come home this weekend. He was out doing this. We might not see him again. So they had deep entrenched fears that, yes, they unfortunately passed down through the generations, and times have gotten a little bit better than then, but they still hold on to those memories. So they in turn pass that to you. So I try to give them a benefit of the doubt by not saying because my dad, we had that conversation one time and he was like, I think I'd try that weed if I if some came by me. Like, and it was so weird because I was like, wow, I never would have thought you would have said that. But he did lighten up later in life and realize, like, I'm sitting here smoking cigarettes. It can't be any worse. Like, it can't be any worse. I mean, and cigarettes were a fad, but this is so bad. So I try not to be too hard on the older black generation, even though sometimes they just be wrong. But I try not to go that far. That's just me personally.
Us too. It was young people too, but I just felt like, I don't know. I just think there has to be a time where we realize if we don't come together as a community for real, we're never going to get over a lot of things. Like at some point, we really have to be like, okay, let's recognize what we feel as a community is an issue and try to work on it somewhere. I'm just saying somewhere, can't we?
Sess, you had something to go on that.
That's okay. I feel like everybody's made some really good points. I will say this though, a lot of the fears that older black parents or black elder, whatever, in the community, their fears are justified. And I say that because we're still dealing with the same issues that they dealt with in their communities. It's not different. You may not have people on your lawn burning crosses, but you still have the same people in positions of authority, making the rules, making the laws, enforcing the laws or not enforcing the laws. Like they see that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so, I mean, sometimes they're out of order in some of the things that they share, but justifiably so. Like I feel like, and I appreciate you saying we're not giving her a way to cope. Like if weed was the answer, or is that if that's what she does sometimes when she's feeling like, I got to step back or whatever, get my mind right, whatever it is. If we're saying you can't do that, then you're right. There do need to be things in place to help her learn how to deal with her grief and how to process like just life on this elevated stage where she is worldwide. It's different when you're running track at LSU and you're fast, you're beating everybody but when you're on the Wheaties box or you have the Nike endorsement and you're on the world stage, it's different. And so I think all of those things compacted, in addition to the loss of her mom and winning that race and then having to talk about it, when was she supposed to process that grief? So yeah, like I said, she shouldn't have smoked.
It's not like she was out here being Marion Jones out here actually doping and making us.
Yeah, she didn't smoke. She took an edible.
Yeah.
Which is also, I think, I wish more people would say that she took an edible and she didn't.
Different perception. Yeah,
it's perception. Yeah,
you're right.
It was legal where she was.
Right.
But legal being legal where you are. I mean, in Virginia it's legal to have weed now too. But at the same time, you're at the mercy of your employer. Like at the end of the day,
that's very true.
You're at the mercy of your employer. I'm in a state where recreational marijuana is legal, but I know I can't do it because I signed on the dotted line saying I won't do it. And so we have to just be honest about that.
Yeah. The other thing is, Marcus, like read the fine print because they're saying it's legal in Virginia, but
and there's other stipulations.
There are a lot of little loopholes.
It's legal everywhere, but I still don't believe it's legal for black folks. I don't care. Like,
nothing is legal.
But they're going. A lot of people about to get caught up. A lot of people about to get caught up. It's all to generate revenue, and people need to realize that there's going to be a lot of revenue generated from those new rules. They don't just make rules about that stuff just to make new rules.
Right.
There has to be something gained. With that being said, I think we should move on to our next topic. And I want Raw to kick this one off because I'm just anxious to hear what you got. So everybody knows our favorite motivational mom, Tabitha Brown. She's made it big, and she decided to do something out of love for her husband, which was to retire him. He had been working for the police force for 15 years, and basically she says, he put he put his dreams on hold so that she could go live her dreams. And basically backed her up, supported her. They were together when they were broke. He made the move to become a cop to support them and allow her to go off, venture off, and do what she needed to do. And now that she's made it big, she decided, pay that back, and say, time for me to do it for you. I'm thinking that's a beautiful thing. But our favorite talk show host, Wendy Williams, had some words to say. Otherwise, basically saying, she tried that before and you saw where it got her. So basically, she's got some hurt. Ra, why don't you go ahead and tell us how you feel?
So there's this thing that they talk about when they're trying to get you to have good life skills called balanced thinking. And the idea behind it is like, before you respond, take a step back, analyze the situation, make sure you're really seeing it for what it is, and then go ahead and provide your response. And you want your response to be aligned with your values. So if you want to be known as respectful, loving, kind, caring, you want your response to reflect that. And I think Tabitha Brown, she did an excellent job of not being quick to react, but she took time to process it, and then she took time to respond. I will say that Wendy's got a lot of pain, a lot of hurt going on there, and that's a hurtful situation to be with somebody for years and years and years, and then they have a baby on you, and then on top of that, everything's public. Your name is always associated with doing recreational drugs in your spare time, those types of things. So I feel like Wendy was just being Wendy and responding or just talking out of hurt. But I am kind of side-eyeing Tabitha just for this one reason. So her response was so loving. It was so like, like, dang girl, like I hope you experience love where you ain't gotta like feel like this, etc. But then her fans went and swarmed Wendy's comments with the vegan, emojis. And it just kind of seemed like she enjoyed that part of it. And to me, it kind of made it seem like she gave a very sanctified F you and have a seat, please. Stay out of my way and mind your business, which is it was done in a classy way, but that doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, align with her, the values that she puts out there.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Let me read a comment. Stranger says that Wendy is just bitter, and Crystal Hall says, I agree. My question is, and maybe Janelle, maybe you can answer this for me. With what? Don't give me those eyes. With the way we're trying to change society, and with the way people are trying to wake up to the fact that male-dominated society is toxic, and some things need to go away, like gender roles and things of that nature. Why is it that a black man is expected to provide and to take care of the spouse, to make sure the home is pay for things, the typical male gender roles? Why is it that when that gender role is flipped, black women seem to come out and say, oh, you just gonna take care of that weak man, or you just gonna let him roll over on you? Because that's basically what Wendy Williams was doing, saying, oh, you're gonna let him just live off of you while you do this. Like, why is it when that role gets switched, it's a problem?
Because I think that those are people that experience being in a marriage that had roles versus being in a marriage that was a partnership. And I think there's two different things. Like, my husband and I are very, very, especially right now, we have a lot of things that we want to do. We are heavily focused on being partners and how we can work together and how we can be individuals but still be partners. It's not about like, because he's the man, he should be making all the money, he should be doing all this and all that. No, we make it work for ourselves. And like we talked on the last episode, a lot of people allow society to define their relationships. And at the end of society is white people. And I'm not trying to like even go there, but these are the values that were instilled a long, 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 long time ago. A long time ago. And they are slowly evolving, but I think that there is this idea that should just be normal, I guess. And I also think that a lot of women get jealous Like, a lot of women may get jealous that Tabitha is with a man that is all about her being in her bag. And her bag is large and is larger than his right now. And she is the star. And that probably makes them feel jealous because a lot of men don't support that either. So that's my take on that.
Sess, go ahead. You're itching.
So, a couple of things. I do think Tabitha low-key threw mad shade.
She did.
But I appreciated it though. Like we said, prior to the show starting, Wendy Williams, if you think her show is bad now, like magnify that by like 10 times when she was a radio host. She was terrible, always dragging people. So I don't feel bad for what Tabitha said to her, because I do think I think she was perturbed, because I'm sure in her mind she was like, why would anybody try to put something negative, a negative spin on what I've found success with, and for the relationship that my husband and I share together. That's our relationship. It's nobody's business. And here you have this woman who's consistently, she's been dragged a couple of times, shamed, all of it, on drugs, all of it. How dare you? That would have been my take. And that probably would have been the only thing that I would have had to say. How dare you? Who do you think you are? And so she got what she deserved. And the fact that they put her responses over the ether beat, the internet wins. If you haven't heard it, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and look that up. So, and I will say this though, for anybody so I used to be married, and there was a time when my husband was not working. And I think you have to, when you're in a relationship, and this is the thing that I think Tabitha was saying, you have to protect one another. And so if you're in a partnership, as we were, it was never about, well, I just did what was necessary. And I didn't think about it as being, oh, I can't believe this, and my friends, and I had to do what was necessary for my relationship. And so people, when she said, now I want you to go mind your business, that she said the right thing. People need to mind their business. Mind what's happening in your own household. Mind what's happening in your life. Mind who you are surrounding yourself with. Those are the things that people have to be focused on. Let me take it. You can't give Wendy Williams, you're not in a position to speak about anybody's marriage. You're not in ma'am, sir, ma'am.
Oh.
Be quiet. Like, for real. She can't speak. She's not in a position to do that, not with any kind of authority. So I definitely feel like Tabitha did the right thing. Hopefully Wendy will learn something from this, and hopefully love will find her. Find her as it has found Tabitha. And that's what I have to say about that.
Before I get to Anthony, I'm coming to you, man. I just want to read some comments first.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
Cindy says Wendy was projecting her insecurities and pain on someone else's marriage and has been doing that for some time. Shireen says Tabitha had every right to throw shade at Wendy. And then Cindy's came back and said Auntie Tab threw an entire blessed grove of palm trees at Wendy, and Wendy deserved it all. The unmitigated gall to speak on someone else's marriage, especially after getting ran through by her ex and his baby mama. Ooh.
Wow. Mama, why you gotta do that?
Ooh. Oh man. Anthony,
Lord.
go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Oh,
go ahead.
First thing, okay, like my mind is like is a web of ideas. So the first thing I'm gonna say is like whenever I hear throw shade, the first time I ever heard throw shade was Crush on You by Biggie Smalls and Lil Kim and Lil C's. She was like, I'm gonna throw shade if I can. I always think about it. Anytime somebody say throw shade, I always think about that moment and that beat because I love that song. But anyway, all right. So I agree with Ra. I will say that I mean, Tabitha had the right to do it. It was a little nice nasty combo. She had the right to do it. If someone talked about my marriage, I probably would have just been all nasty. So I mean, I guess she did deliver her message with some type of grace. With the fans doing the avocados, I mean, that's just the internet. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you come at people who really are just not bothering anybody at all. I will say I don't know a lot about Wendy Williams, so I'm always first of all the drugs. I'm like, I didn't know she was on drugs. God. But but I will also say, look, if you're not a great scorer, then you're supposed to play defense. You know what I'm saying? Or you're supposed to like cheer your teammates on. So if your life is like a shitstorm, just be nice. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta balance your. I believe in balance. You know what I'm saying? So if I like, I'm bald, so I got a beard. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's balance. You know what I mean? So that's all I got to say about Wendy. I do hope the best for her, just like Tab does. I hope that it gets to a point where she don't gotta mess with people that don't bother anybody. You know what I'm saying? If somebody comes for Shannon Sharp, I'd do the same thing. I would be mad too, because that's my boy. He don't do nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say on that.
And my dad used to say something similar. He said, "You can't be ugly and be mean. Like you just can't.
You gotta be funny.
You gotta be funny. You gotta be nice as hell because you can't be ugly and mean. You just can't.
Or rich.
Yeah. Or rich. Rich would be one.
But, I guess she got money, so
It just I feel sad for Wendy Williams because it's like
I do.
I watched her documentary. First of all, she's just shaped weird. I don't. Anyway, every time I look at her,
that's real.
I'm sorry.
I refuse.
I can't look at her. Anyway, that's wrong.
I refuse to believe that she looks like that.
This got it. Like how your legs? It looked like her legs go all the way up to like her chest, and they just stop there. Like she's missing her midsection.
Do this to her, man.
She's missing her midsection.
That's why I'm like,
I don't know.
Wendy, you doing this? You talking about people like this?
Anyway, but I feel sorry for her because it's like after all you've been through, and the amount of blessings that you have to be able to, after going what you went through, to have a show, to be seen across the nation. Why would you use this platform to take down another black woman like that? Like, why would you do? And I know there's some hurt. She needs some counseling. She needs to talk that out. She needs it.
Healing.
But this is black families need to get this. Like, there's so much trauma that goes in within our lives. We need to stop making counseling and stuff such a taboo, because she is definitely somebody who would have benefited from it. And there's so many black people that are just like her that miss out on their own blessings because they can't be happy for other people's. Like you can't be happy and you can't win because you can't watch somebody else win. And no, you're not gonna find love with all that hate in your heart. So Tabitha can wish that for her, but if she's that like just jaded on the whole look of someone being in love with somebody and having a partnership with somebody, there's no hope for that woman until she gets to a point where she can talk that out. Go ahead, Anthony, and then I think it was Anthony, Janelle, then Cecily.
All right, I would say this: we do need to. I think her comments stem from the fact that we kind of need to rethink our ideas about, like, power dynamics in relationships. Like Janelle said, her marriage is a partnership. You know what I'm saying? They build each other up and they hold each other up. And I think that we kind of just have an idea that, one person should do one thing, one person should do another thing. I think gender roles hurt us a lot more than they help us. That's the first thing. But I also think about, again, I don't really know what Wendy been through, but it reminds me of like Patrick Beverly. Like, does Wendy Williams have to do this in order to just be controversial? Because you know how Pat Bev plays. He has to play like that. He's 6 foot. He got to play like that.
Yeah.
In order to stay in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get
so does Wendy? I know I'm talking about. I'm just saying on a general level. Does she have to just be this person just so she could? Because we talk about her. It's bad, but we still talk about her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Can I
go ahead.
That's why I raised my hand. I was going to say, and this is just me speaking from having a marketing background. She's not stupid.
No.
Right now, what gets you the numbers, what gets you the reach and the engagement is being negative. And what does she do? Call on the most positive person who is at the top of her game right now. She's not stupid at all. At all. And I think that Tabitha knows that, and that's why she was nice nasty. I think that Tabitha knows. Wendy absolutely positively knew exactly what she was doing. I bet she knew that people were going to be in her comments posting the avocados and stuff. She knew, and she don't care, because I'm pretty sure that woman doesn't have a soul. I feel like she just can't be convicted at all.
Hold on, I gotta read this comment by my boy Michael Newby. Great to see you, man. He said Wendy Williams used to play power forward for the Monstars. I can't. I can't. Man. Good night, Newbie. Thanks, man. But no.
Hands at this point.
I think Wendy Williams realizes like what you do to bring people in, you got to keep doing to keep them. So she's got to keep throwing shots out there, and
that's her plan.
And that toxicity is gonna come back to her, and she's gonna be lonely forever. That's what you want to throw out in the universe. It's gonna come back.
We should be more mad at her fans.
You said what?
We really should be more mad at the people that support her and keep her.
Well, did you see the audience? Did you see the audience when she said what she said? They did not clap. Like I
didn't see that, and I told Trevor, I was like, I feel like her fans are also Tabitha fans.
Yeah, and she split the caucus, and because they were like, they holding up the clap card, but I don't want to. But like, it looked weird, and the white people didn't know who she was, so they were just like, "Oh, are we not supposed to be clapping? Are we?" Like they were looking left and right, like, "Oh, no clap." Oh, they just like, yeah, and she had to literally drum up an applause for it. So, Rod, do you think it's really bitterness, or do you think that she's just being salacious just to be salacious? Like, do you think it's
that woman is hurt, pain? I even think, like, let's take all of this out of it. I think for her to be capable of she was mentioning, like, hey, back in the day she used to be off the chain. I think it's way deeper than just this last thing is just what we know about with Wendy and the demise of her marriage and that public love child, and then he went on. That's just all we know about. But I definitely see somebody who can make the base of their living off of negativity and always talking about everybody else. And I think Wendy is a different level than other talk show hosts that I have seen before who report gossip and stuff. I definitely see pain, for sure, 1,000%.
Anthony. What'd you say, Anthony?
Only thing I'll say is just y'all know I'm trying to be a better person. I hope you're like the way I approach these situations. Like if you knew me in 2009, that's a totally different Anthony, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just like Wendy. Obviously, I learned today Wendy is bad. I learned this today. You know what I'm saying? I just hope Shorty, you know what I'm saying? Like Rob said, I hope she get her help. But damn, I just feel bad talking this shit about her though. I feel bad. You know what I'm saying? Because people really say mean things about her. Like, damn, I know she got some feelings.
But you gotta see the things that she said.
Yeah, you can't. Okay. But you can't just be out here saying what you say. You can't just be out here talking.
I can't believe a human being can sleep at night after saying some things that she says. I can't believe she's able to sleep at night.
Power forward for the Monstars. That's damn. Well, I wish I had said that to somebody in like middle school or something. I would have messed them up for years saying that.
That's my boy Michael. Always got a comment, but no, I think I have a hard time feeling sorry for people who invite this onto themselves. Like, if you talk smack, you deserve the smack that comes back. Like, you can't start a fight and then say, "Oh, like, please don't hit me." Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't not do your summer reading and then think that a certain English teacher was gonna give you some extra credit so that you could pass that first 9 weeks. Like, it's just
do
not
the regular credit. Do the regular credit.
Like, you're just told that you should do the work that was given to you in the beginning. But they know. But anyway, they know how they were about assigning certain projects at a certain time. But not gonna get into that. But you can't just expect like no consequences to come from your actions. And I think Wendy always gets like oh, she came back at me and she was talking to me and she said this and I, like, sis, I was just like, no, like you know what you said about her, and she had every right to clap back. And she's lucky she said that about who she said it about. Because had she said this about any other celebrity, she would have been dragged. And this woman didn't say, "Oh, let's all boycott Wendy Williams. Let's all like not look at her anymore." She just said, "I hope you find love. I hope you find some peace." Like, and I think that I think Wendy Williams is just a sad person. I think she's just sad, and no amount of money and fame is ever gonna help her feel better about her life.
Let me get the money then. I'll be happy with that money. You know what I'm saying? I could do a lot of things. Go ahead, Janelle. I know, or Miss Sophie, I know y'all got.
Agree with you. I do not understand wealthy people, but I was gonna just say, I do feel bad for Wendy Williams too. But on the other hand, I think of people like Oprah, and I don't know if you all have read about Oprah, but Oprah, I mean, outside she's done some questionable things, but Oprah was like the reason that I'm into doing the things that I do. I read about her when I was younger. I read a lot of books, and that woman was raped by almost every male in her family. Oprah went through she had a horrific life. And I mean, even when she started to become a journalist, she got fired so many times because she was Black, because she wasn't attractive. Like, she's been through hell. And that woman is happier than anybody. Like, sometimes I wonder, do we constantly use trauma as a reason for people to treat people badly? Like, I'm sitting here saying I feel really bad for her, but at the same time, like, people have been through horrific. A girl just lost her mom and found out during an interview. But she didn't wake up and start talking bad about people. She didn't go off on the people that was talking bad about her. I just feel like it's kind of like, I feel bad, but at the same time, girl, you should have got your butt whipped a long time ago.
Well, that's what I keep saying. You got to learn to be happy for other people in their success. Like, you have to learn that even when you're in a season of loss and you're not winning, you have to learn to cheer other people on from the sidelines when you're not on the field. When you're not out there doing it and you're not out there winning, you have to learn to support other people. And some people just can't do it. And they become bitter watching people succeed.
That's how people in your diary. Like, what?
Seth, you had some.
I was just gonna say, I don't feel like well, first I was gonna say, how you gonna win when you ain't right within? Like, we're talking about,
just one album. She could have gave us 2 albums.
She can't get herself together, so she's gonna continue to do ugly things to good people, and so she's always gonna be in a season of loss until she can get herself right and look at other people's success and congratulate them, like, sincerely on that. Imagine how high her stock would have gone had she done that story differently.
Rachel Nichols.
Right. So until she can do that, then she's going to continue to lose. And some people may think she's winning. She's not. She's not happy. Because if she was happy, she wouldn't be talking about people like Tabitha, of all people, trying to drag them in the media or be shady boots. That's how I like to say it. So yeah, she's gonna continue to struggle.
So is there a taboo though on women taking doing this for men? Like it, or is this just Wendy Williams having a problem? Because I have talked to friends of mine that are women and that say, like, they want their man to take care of them. Like, they would feel weird if their man was at home and they were going to work. Like, they just wouldn't like it. Is that just a product of our societal norms, or is that just how women feel naturally? Like, I'm curious. Like you said that you had a partnership in your marriage and you did what you had to do.
Right.
Why? So Janelle or Ra, whichever one of you want to answer.
I definitely think it comes from society. I think a lot of things that we just think should happen, like the fact that women, myself included, I viewed marriage as something I needed to do, or like, there's a lot of just seeds that society plants in our heads. So I definitely think it's society, but I also think that a lot of women express that, like, "Ooh, I wouldn't like that," or etc., because they can't. Like Tabitha and Chance are I would say my first healthy example of like, oh, that's what that could look like in a very healthy, happy way. Because I could think of a lot of examples where so and so wanted to be a rapper and give me your tax money so I could flip it. I could think of a lot of narratives like that.
Yep.
But I just think that a lot of people, because it's not the norm, they can't envision it for themselves. And so they say, I just don't want that. Just have somebody take care of me, because I can envision myself spending somebody else's money. I can envision myself going on vacations. I can see that.
Janelle?
So this is hard for me because this is not something that was ever normal to me. I come from, and mother, if you're watching, I just want you to know how proud I am to say this. I come from a whole family of hardworking women. I grew up watching my father had a landscaping business and my mother was his partner, and she would go and landscape apartment complexes like by herself, cut the entire thing like by herself. My aunt had her own practice at one point. My grandmother worked for GE up until she retired on her own, single, and left this world single, and was the strongest woman I've ever met. So I can't really comprehend the idea of not just working and just, not doing that. I'm a worker. That's just how I am. I enjoy it. And Trevor at that point in time was telling me like, stop. But I think that on one hand, I do think it's society, but on the other hand, I think that there are people who just want that. And where they fall short is they don't look for someone that is willing to give that to them. They just expect it of people, and it's not fair. But I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with a woman or even a man wanting to live that type of life. Is that what you want? But you can't just think that everyone wants that. You gotta, probe, ask some questions, get to know. I think it's the expectation part that really messes things up.
Cecily?
I was going to say, I'm glad she brought that up. I also think that for men, it has to be a pain when you come across women who only want you to like, what are you bringing? Do you have anything to bring to the table? Anything. Your conversation is trash.
Ooh.
You don't read. So what exactly are you bringing to the table so that I would want to take care of you?
Ooh.
Like give me something. And so women,
Lord.
and I use that term loosely because most of the grown women typically don't carry themselves that way. So women need to reevaluate themselves before they go and push these often unrealistic expectations on these unsuspecting men. It's ridiculous. So I feel like I want to work. I like to work. I like doing what I do or whatever. But I also want somebody who is stable and we can build something together. And then if we get to a position where I don't have to work and he's like, oh no, I got this, we did this. That's different. But for me to walk up on some dude I've been talking to for a year talking about, yeah, I want you to take care of me. I expect him to be like, little bit, you need to go have a seat somewhere. You need to go have a seat. And I would respect him for telling me that. I don't understand it. Because there are a lot of women who do have an expectation of, well, I need a man, he's going to take care of me and he's got to have this, that, and the third. But you sleeping on an air mattress in a dirty apartment. Like, what you talking about? Like, do y'all understand? Is it too much? I'm sorry.
It's preach.
Okay. I need to meet these women because I never.
No, but she is right. And
Anthony,
go.
You also have to understand, like, I've seen a lot of people come through, and so I'm friends with some of them on Facebook. I know some of them in real life, and I'm just like, but you don't have nothing. So why would he take care of you? Like, you have nothing. You're bringing nothing. So they're out there. I'm not one of them, but they're out there.
You said they out there. All right, this what I say. Okay. I do, and I say this all the time. A lot of heteronormative relationships are transactional. where I feel like the woman is like trading basically like attractiveness and probably sex for like money. You know what I'm saying? It sounds ugly, but that's a lot of heteronormative relationships, right? So, and I think that we should just kind of like, like restructure the way we think about some of the ways we do these relationships. I do agree with Miss Cecily. Like, you should just at the end of the day, you should bring whatever you are expecting. You should be able to bring whatever you expect. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you want yourself a rich dude or whatever, then I mean, yeah, you got to have something to offer. You know what I'm saying? Whether that, I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
I do just want to, you good. But I do just want to add to young ladies, if you do have that mindset that you want somebody to take care of you, be able to take care of yourself, even if you get the doctor, the lawyer, whatever it is you're looking for. Even if you obtain that, make sure that if that person decided to walk out tomorrow, or God forbid something happened to them, make sure you're still good. That's all.
Oh, this is what I was gonna say. The power dynamic. Like, there's power in paying for everything, right? Like we seen it a lot. We seen it a lot with men. Like a lot of times, men who pay for everything are like, sometimes they be abusive and controlling. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they are entitled to you and be able to control you because I pay for everything. That's why I always tell people, like, be able to stand on your own feet in your relationship. And I feel like that's where Wendy, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's where her mind was. She was like, well, whoever pays for everything has all the power. I just think that Tab and Chance have a true partnership where, like y'all said, like he really did what he had to do in the beginning, and she like, look, I got us now because I do, and it's more, it makes more sense. You don't have to just do stuff because you're a man. I'm making all this money. You held our family down in the beginning, so I got us now. So I think that there's nothing wrong with that.
Want to shout out in the chat, Miss Pamela Higgins is here, and she's been commenting. And she said that the comments that y'all made were on point, and that she was waiting for the that statement. I don't know if she was talking about Anthony's or a Raw statement, but she's in agreement with y'all. But I just found it really weird that I guess Wendy has her people that'll just stand with her, and whatever she says and whatever she does, they'll agree with her. And I think, man, sometimes I hate the fact that someone can be famous and say something outrageous, and just because they're famous, people will agree with it without even thinking and like putting any kind of thought behind it. Because there was no reason for me, in my opinion, to tear this woman down. Now, what you said, Ms. Gardner, that is a very, for at least in, and maybe it's just a woman I've been around lately because of like where I am and where I work. That is a very unpopular thing to say, and the fact that you're saying it, you kind of sound like the woman Kevin Samuels. Like, and I don't think people will be ready for that.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
No, I'm just saying.
Kevin Samuels got a bad connotation.
I'm not saying in that way. I mean it as in she's saying something that a lot of women won't admit to. Like, a lot of women, I don't think will admit to that. But I think, of course, your maturity level is completely different than these girls out here. But I kind of found that refreshing, and I saw the shock on Anthony's face too. It's like, that is something that I don't think men hear too often.
But I also think that's the type of women y'all be attracted to.
I ain't attracted to these anyway.
No, she's
oh, okay, now.
In the time that I was dating before I met my husband, I had to drop so many men because I had a guy actually tell me, you work too much.
Yeah,
that's
like,
yeah.
It's just wild to me, but I just feel like when I see, and what you're saying isn't wrong. There are absolutely positively women that do that. She's not wrong. But when men complain about it, and certain men, not y'all of course, but certain men will complain, I'm like, you're with the same type of girl every weekend. These NFL players, the NBA players, a lot of different men that will get caught up in the same narrative every month. When are y'all gonna learn? When?
Cause I feel like dudes go for like, I feel like I'm starting to learn this too. It's not like judging someone how they look, but it's like, okay, for example, if you see somebody with like natural hair and they wear like they smell like I don't know. Let me see.
The bear.
Yeah,
Cocoa butter.
yeah, they smell like cocoa
Okay.
butter or like stuff like that. Like that's you will be able to like know certain things about them. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably recycle or like you know what I'm saying. They might be into the things you into. You know what I'm saying? So I think it is important to get somebody that's basically like on the same page as you. If you want like the Instagram model type shorty, then that is probably going to be the type of person that is expecting you to pay because they're trying to monetize their beauty. So if you know that walking in. So if you know that's who you want, then you got to be ready to pay for that if you want to do that.
Come on, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying.
So, do y'all think Tabitha's response was the correct way to respond, or does it even matter at that point? Is it? I mean,
I wouldn't have said anything, but she said I think what she said was fine. I wouldn't say anything.
I think she kept it classy. She addressed it, kept it cute, kept it classy, and
I mean that's hating from outside the club at its finest. Like you ain't even in the marriage club.
Tabitha probably would allow her in the club to be her friend if she was so friend. Because Tabitha's that sweet.
I don't think she's that sweet. That's her. I think sweetness is her brand.
Yeah, her brand. I think before she got on that air and said those comments, she said some other comment, and her husband was like, "Go ahead, calm it down."
Response is to, okay, something happens, boom, I'm feeling XYZ, but I need to take a minute so that I can be over at ABC because ABC is the better way to handle this, and a lot of people miss that.
Rob, what are you reading? Where did you learn that? Did you just come up with that?
That was actually in resilience training.
No, I love that.
It's a military training we go through every
year.
I'm still trying to learn how to do that.
Oh, y'all go through that training. But it's so many people it's like when I get my perception of like the army is like low key like racism though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that exists. Don't worry. We have a good dose of that. The views expressed on this show are not the express views of the United States Air Force or any of its affiliates. I just want to throw that out there right now.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, but I just think with everything that happened this week with the Bill Cosby, with Sha'Carri Richardson, everything that happened with the ESPN situation, how tone deaf do you have to be to go after somebody completely innocent that has nothing going on? Like, I mean, that's how she keeps her show alive. I get it. I'm not even home during the day to watch that crap. So, but with that being said, the last thing we'll go through tonight, with that being said, should we, as an African-American culture, start looking at that and seeing how it portrays us and makes us look? Because I'll be honest, white people look at that stuff and just be like, look at y'all. Like, and they use that. Should we, at this time, I've heard it used, should we get away from ratchet television and things like that and stop promoting those shows, those type of shows, and start constructing networks that have more shows that positively portray African Americans?
Can I say something?
Sure.
All right. Look. No white people don't apologize for Tiger King.
Come on.
Or 16 and Pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Or Animal Kingdom or any of the other. You know what I'm saying? They feel like, okay, we can exist in a wide range of networks and shows and ideas. So no, I don't apologize for Wendy Williams. That's one person. She doesn't represent black people, and we're not a monolith.
Oh, she about to fight me? She took her earrings out. She about to fight me from through the camera. She gonna fail me. I'm not even in school. That's crazy. Rob, what you got? What you think? Should we get away from that ratchet television style or the Bad Girls Club? I don't even know that's a show anymore because I never really watched this stuff. But
my jam.
I feel that I am in the process of still growing on this subject, but I will say that I think that cannot be all that we portray. And that is the danger, because you mentioned, white people don't apologize for this and that, but white people have the luxury of, if Johnny does this, Johnny did that.
Mm-hmm.
When Black people do something, it's
Everybody.
oh, look at how the Black people did whatever the case may be. So but I also, on the other hand, I've been learning about toxic Black excellence, and that Michelle Obama, you know what I'm saying, is just as valuable as Shanae in the airport with her bonnet. Like, we also can't buy into a high value Black person. We are not, we're not all the same, and we all have value. So that's why I said, I just think that can't be all that's in the media. And I do think right now that is a lot of what's on TV, and I don't like it. I miss the days where there were, like a different world where it showed people going to school and doing stuff with their life. And a lot of shows right now are about trauma, like Black trauma. So if it's a show with a predominantly Black family and everybody looks Black and, all of that, it's probably a horror show. Like Us, Them, Get Out, those types of things. Like, I want to see just some regular stories where it's not about, it could be a little razzle dazzle in there every now and again, but I don't understand why we can't just have nice, happy, healthy stories as well if you want to keep the ratchet.
I agree 100%. One of the things that is troubling is I don't even watch a lot of TV, but what I do know is that reality TV, it's terrible. And everything has its place, but when all the space is taken up by that kind of depiction of Black people, of course, it's problematic and it's traumatic. So I would say if there was some kind of balance, if we could have the different world shows, even Living Single, because that was entertaining. If we could have those shows in addition to, because everybody has their guilty pleasures. I mean, reality TV is not mine is actually my 600-pound life. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know why, but everybody has their guilty pleasures. There's nothing wrong with that. But not only do white people in the United States watch how we're depicted, but when we travel overseas, there's an expectation of certain behaviors because of what they see in the media. And so that, when we're talking international, that is a problem. That's why you see the Federation in Tokyo making the decisions about what kind of swim caps people can wear. And it's rooted in European BS.
Anti-Blackness.
Yeah,
So Michael
there you go.
Newby,
Thank you so much for that.
Michael Newby
Absolutely.
commented again. He said, definitely not a fan of how we are portrayed on TV. White people have a majority of the TV market showcasing that diversity. We know our quality TV made by our people. Unfortunately, people outside of our race don't get that same picture. She nailed it on the head. Yep.
Can I say this real quick though? I'm gonna just say this. First of all, I think we see those things because they're sensationalized. Number one, because all the Black folk I see on TV wear suits all day long.
Come
like
on.
Shannon Sharp, Jalen Rose, Kendrick Perkins, you know what I'm saying? Richard Jefferson. All the people I watch got degrees. Also, I will say this: people who hate Black people hated Barack Obama. You can't be any more perfect than that. Like, they gonna hate us whether we got on suits or whether our parents are sagging to our knees. I do agree with y'all. We do need to have diverse programming, and I'm not into like the paid in full like New Jack City. I'm more into like The Wood or like ATL or like, you know what I'm saying, like, or Atlanta, or like, it's because that's the type of person I am. Basically, I'm not into 50 Cent. I like Pink Polo, Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? I'm that type of Black person, but I do think we deserve to have the full breadth of range of things like that.
So basically, not playing respectability
And I
politics.
will say it's a couple shows like Blackish. It reminds me of A Different World, or Grownish, Insecure, Married at First Sight. Got some real nice Black couples on there.
Ra.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It bothers me and I'm gonna just say this first off.
Yeah.
I have no problem with mixed race people. I view mixed race people as part of our community,
Oh, okay.
but it does bother me that pretty much everybody on Blackish
It's mixed.
is either mixed or racially ambiguous.
I got you.
Because I don't mind a little mixed girl story being told. I don't mind a light skinned girl story being told. That's not the problem. But when every single Black story that is told is the face is always a light skinned face or a biracial face, I think that's an agenda as well. Again, I don't have a problem with it, but also have some of our dark skinned sisters like Moesha was an amazing show. The Parkers, like, it does not always have to be like.
Moesha was talking.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Janelle.
We can say living single. No, hold on. Let me read. I hope she don't mind me calling her Mama Higgins. But let's read her comment. She said, she does not always want the Tyler Perry way of portraying us. And I completely agree. Yeah. His way of portraying, I think, can be damaging at times. And I'll let Janelle talk. I'll let Janelle talk because I went on a rant about Tyler Perry last week. And so I'm not going to go there again. Janelle, go ahead.
Okay. So I actually agree with just about everything everyone has said. But, you know, my people. I love my people. I love my people in every shape, every form. I just do. And I sit and I think, number one, I ain't giving white people the benefit of the doubt to ever disrespect my people. I don't care what platform we're on. I'm not giving you the option to do it. It's just not going to happen. And when I think of these shows, number one, I'm very, very intentional, kind of like Anthony, like you said, you're really working on being a better person. I am very intentional about the things that I watch. I watch just about 4 shows. I watch anything on ESPN, NBA related. I watch The Office. I watch Law and Order. And I may watch something like Handmaid's Tale or something here and there. But I really watch the same thing every day. Granted, Real Housewives of Atlanta is coming back, and I will be watching that because I'm sorry, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because that's my jam. But I think that when we say ratchet television, we talk about how white people view us. I really don't think white people care. Majority of white people that I've talked to about these shows have no idea of what I'm talking about. And on top of that, I feel like, is it ratchet because we think that white people think it's ratchet, or are we just the main ones so focused on how everyone else thinks we look? And I'm not saying that y'all are wrong. I'm just looking at it from a different standpoint. Sometimes I feel like we look at certain shows and automatically deem them to be ratchet, and we don't want white people to think of us that way. But there's sometimes good episodes that be carrying a good word every now and then. And sometimes I just wonder, like,
I agree. I think I sometimes
like white people be wild.
They do.
And no one sits there and says this is ratchet. Like, they shouldn't be out here doing this. This is so ignorant and trailer trash. And like, I don't really see.
I think it depends on what your reality is. And I think we have to talk about that, because the reality of Janelle's existence is not the reality of my existence. It's not the reality of Anthony's or Assess or Roz. For me, maybe sometimes I can admit, maybe sometimes I am a little bit more into policing how I'm perceived, because I know the world that I inhabit, the work that I do, the majority of the people who are going to make changes and make things that will affect me are white people. So in order for me sometimes to get ahead or to feel seen or do whatever, I have to police the way I act. Like when I'm around certain people, yes, unfortunately, my voice does change. My diction changes. The vocabulary I use changes. And when I'm with y'all on the show, I'm me. But I have to switch up. And unfortunately, society, I don't think, has changed enough to allow me to not do that. So in these conversations with the people that run the world that I live in, I have heard the comments like, wow, that's crazy, like, oh, ratchet. Or I've had white people literally come to me and say, I thought all black people did this. I thought all black people were like this, because this is all I saw. And I've had to have those conversations to be like, no, now watch this show, because we're not all like this. Like, but when these are the shows that are pushed in Facebook bits on Facebook or little Instagram clips, and this is what they're watching, this is what they've come to believe. And
that's really on their timeline. Do you really think that?
Oh, it is. You'd be
That's on their
surprised.
timeline. I think it's more so when we talk about it.
I think it's when they share it as jokes and memes, and then they believe that. But go ahead, Ra.
I don't think it's that they care. I just think that it formulates what they feel they can expect from Black people. So the whole narrative about like the whole light-skinned friend is usually like nice and sweet, and then you got the dark-skinned best friend. Like those are narratives that Black women still deal with today that came from TV. Men dressing up as women, and okay, when I'm big and I got a bonnet on or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm loud, I'm ghetto, I'm this, I'm that. Like this is stuff that we're still dealing with today, that if you look a certain way, people are going to have automatic preconceptions about you. They don't care, but they're going to think it.
Cecily,
I
your
just
face
really
is
don't care about what white people think about me.
No?
I really don't, because I know I'm the bomb.
Yes.
I know I'm educated, and I know I can make it do what it do. You got a problem with me? Bye. That's just how I feel. Like I just guess I've gotten to a point where it's like it's exhausting trying to please y'all, because y'all just ain't even pleasing yourselves. Like I guess I just don't care.
Seth.
And I also like have broken down because of that, and it's not worth it.
Seth.
just
She over there. She's marinating on something she wants to say, but she no, not gonna let it out. Okay.
I used to agree a lot, like the respectability thing, until like, okay, one time I was coming from Brent's house and I was stuck because an officer asked me like, why was I parked so far away from the parking lot? But when he started following me, I was on foot, so he didn't even know I had a car. So it's just like, so basically I was detained for like a half an hour. My plates were ran, my license was run, just because it was late and I was Black. And y'all know me. Y'all know I don't commit crimes. I'm a teacher. I'm a respectable person in every way of the definition. But it still happened just so. That's when I learned, look, if people hate Black people, they're gonna hate you. They're gonna hate you. It don't matter if you're righteous, matter if you're righteous. It does not. You could be Jesus Christ. If they decide that you're a certain way, that's how you are to them. So I just feel like the white people who think, oh, that's all Black people, that's their stupidity for thinking that, because no race is all one way. And if you really think that, then you are just you just dumb as hell. That's just it.
The problem is they can afford to be dumb as hell.
That's true.
That
is true. That is. I've been fortunate too. I'm from Prince George's County. I lived in DC. I worked in DC, so I work around Black people. I can talk just like this at work. I can be like, all right, what's going on, y'all? How we doing today? Today we're doing X, Y, Z, and I don't feel uncomfortable. So I do know my situation is different from everyone else's. I never really felt like a minority before, but I also just feel like we shouldn't have to fake for white folk. Like, a lot of the successful people I know, like Mr. Irby is very mobile. He don't fake for white people. Like, oh, they love him. You know why? Because he can play his ass off. So it's like, I just feel like if they're gonna like you, they are, and they're not.
And if we're being judged for reality television, which is basically fake, y'all was climbing the Capitol. Tell me what I'm supposed to think about y'all from that. Y'all climb. I will never ever get over it.
Celebrating the 4th of July.
So Mama,
a historical building, but we're the problem.
Mama Higgins says she's still trying to help her child. She's still trying to help her child. So yeah.
But don't you, as I'll ask you, Anthony, like don't you as a Black man kind of say, like, let's say if you got pulled over, like you can't necessarily, I don't know how to say exactly what I'm trying to say, but you can't necessarily be like, oh, I'm just me. Like, don't you have certain things running through your mind maybe in that particular situation, like let me do or not do certain things because I'm not afforded certain luxuries as if I were in this situation in white?
Yes, I am, because I'm obviously hyper aware of how I'm viewed from a white survival. You're right. But at the same time, I'm not going to, when it comes to things like television or like art or something like that, I'm not going to just lay down to those ideas, because just like we've been saying, like no one has a problem with Jackass. No one has a problem with 16 and Pregnant. No one has a problem with Laguna Beach. No one calls it a riot when people go out after hockey games and destroy their town. You know, and nobody has a problem with that. You know what I mean? We never. No one has a problem with the Boston Tea Party or the Revolutionary War. No one has a problem with January 6th. That wasn't treason. They weren't killed on site. It's supposed to be on site.
Come on, Anthony.
On site. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we can't just lay down for that. Yes, there are situations where just for your own safety, yes, you have to be aware of certain things. But am I going to apologize for content that's on TV when I know there's a wide breadth of content? There's black folk with subject verb agreement, and there's black folk that say, "What is you doing?" And you can choose what you want to watch.
A lot of really good shows. Some great shows for black people. That was it.
You know what?
Just end it.
You know what, Anthony? That's it. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, we go end the
you
show.
Went off. You went off. Yeah, I'll tell you something about them beards, man. Them beards you get right, they be just going off. But look, this was a longer than normal show. I want to thank all my guests for being here with myself and Janelle. Couldn't have done it without you. What a great panel. Like, let's give it up for them. Definitely enjoyed the conversation tonight. As always, everybody who's still watching, stop what you're doing right now. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go do so. Thank you to the people who are watching on YouTube. That's the most people we've had watch on YouTube. So I appreciate that. I appreciate if you would just share this to all your friends and all your family members so we can have more people watch, and hopefully we can gain some more traction. And if you have not followed us on Instagram, please follow us on Instagram at Marcus in the Man Cave. And then follow us on our personal social media platforms. You can find me Marcus Winters. It's Marcus with a K. And then same on Instagram. And then Janelle, she's famous on TikTok now. So go ahead, plug your TikTok.
I'm famous for all the wrong reasons. Let's just leave that. Just follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Janelle Renee Mayfield. TikTok, we're just still working on that.
But yeah, she's got a lot of great skincare tips and stuff going on right now. So ladies, if you looking into skincare and stuff like that, please follow her, because she got my skin right too. I'll be trying to follow some of that stuff, but I don't like Target. I get anxiety when I walk into Target. I don't know what it is. I don't understand, because the women be shopping so fast in there, and I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't be knowing what's happening. And like, literally, I pulled a cart out, and a lady just took my cart and took off. Like, I was like,
it's not a game in Target. It's not a game.
She just took it and just booked. But thank y'all for coming tonight. We hope to see you again same time next week. And as always, love y'all. Peace.